The idea of the Christian life as a journey is as old as Christianity itself. Our Lord described himself as the way. The early Christians said they were followers of the way. They were journeying on a road called Jesus. But there are journeys and journeys. There's the packaged holiday, a journey that begins with a contract signed on the dotted line. You know in advance how much it will cost, where you start from and where you'll finish up, the accommodation you can expect, the food you'll eat, and whether excursions are included or not. You know that on your return you'll have a nice tan because even the sun is guaranteed to shine. And it will be a few weeks before you dare to stand on the scales again. Another way of travelling is that of a friend of mine who went on an adventure holiday to the Himalayas. He prepared months ahead by rigorous exercise. You see, travel was on foot and by mule over some of the most difficult terrain in the world. When one of the guides was killed in an accident, David found himself leading the expedition. Of the 15 who began, only 3 finished the journey. Was it worth it? I asked him. The photographs, I must say, were breathtaking. But the climax was Everest. To stand at its base and gaze on its glittering heights was an experience in a million. Yes, it was worth it. The wise men's journey was no package on holiday either. Like my friend, they had to travel through inhospitable and dangerous territory. We are not told whether they travelled alone or as part of a merchant's caravan. Certainly there's no mention of any others. Nevertheless, either way, they were exposed not only to inclement weather, but to brigands who infested the roads. You remember, it was dangerous just to travel from Jericho to Jerusalem. The journey of the Magi was much longer and more dangerous than that. T.S. Eliot was not far from the truth when he wrote, "A cold coming we had of it, just the worst time of the year for a journey, and such a long journey, the ways deep and the weather sharp, the very dead of winter." The journey was started because they looked up. Their eyes were fixed on the skies. They had a cosmic, not a parochial view of life. It's no accident that the 3 great religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, was each born in the desert. The desert is where the stars shine the brightest. The stars encourage you to get your life in proportion. The psalmist was persuaded of this. He wrote, "When I consider your heavens, the work of your hands, the moon, and the stars which you have ordained, what is man that you are mindful of him, or the son of man that you visit him? So the stars cut me down to size. They puncture my self-importance. They confront me with the fact that for a mere moment of cosmic time, I am an inhabitant of a speck of dust." Except that Christmas and Epiphany declare that we are a star visited by God, and the dust from which we are fashioned is stardust. So the 3 wise men were men of vision. They were unafraid of that which was new. When they saw the star, they rejoiced. Many may have seen the star and quaked with terror. convinced it augured a disaster. Some, like Herod, would tremble for their position in the scheme of things. The wise men were filled with excitement and gripped by a spirit of adventure. It drew them on to the most momentous journey of their lives. What kind of a journey am I on? A cosy, all wrapped up, predictable, pre-packaged one? Or one too extravagant for words? A journey into the unknown, lured into the future by a God of surprises. On a wall of the room where I say my prayers is a painting by my daughter, a scene from the mountains above Malaga. It portrays an arid, sun-soaked landscape through which twists a narrow road, climbing up to a dark mountain in the distance. It reminds me of my own wandering journey. There's one place where the road disappears altogether, and that seems familiar too. And I often find myself wondering what lies on the other side of the dark mountain. Gazing on that painting, I often find myself murmuring a short, not very good poem I came across nearly 70 years ago. I was a young, penniless student looking after a small mission church to pay my way through Bible college. I was frequently given hospitality by Mrs. Gray, a warm, motherly lady. On the bedroom wall was a picture of a range of mountains over which these words were inscribed. Beyond each hilltop others rise, like ladder rungs to loftier skies, till who shall say ere night descend, there can be such a thing as end. Jesus said that in his Father's house are many mansions. Someone, I think it was Bishop Westcott, has suggested that these are resting places on a journey, like the oases where the wise men paused for a short while to gather strength before setting off once again. So maybe as we accompany the Magi on a journey to the Christ child, we are on but the first stage of an adventure which, like God himself, is endless.